Forms of real estate ownership flashcards, 16 questions with explained answers. Flashcard 1. Term. How does the death of one of a corporation's directors affect the corporation? Definition. The answer is does not affect title to property owned by the corporation. The corporation is a separate entity in itself. Corporations live forever and the corporation would simply replace the director without any discontinuation of operations. Flashcard 2. Term. Ownership by severalty. Definition. Ownership of the property is held by one person. This includes all rights to the property, seed, possession, control, enjoyment, exclusion and disposal. One way to remember severalty, to sever ownership from all others. Flashcard 3. Term. Condominium ownership. Definition. Owner has a fee simple title to the unit then hold a tenancy as common ownership in the common area. Common areas include the lobby, elevator, hallways, parking lot, roof and recreational areas. Places such as balconies are considered limited common areas and must follow property covenant with regards to furniture and maintenance. Even though state condominium law allows for tenancy and common ownership of common areas, it does not allow owners the right to partition that most tenants in common have. Flashcard 4. Term. Community property laws. Definition. These are based on the idea the spouses do not merge into one entity, but are equal partners during the marriage. Under these laws, any property acquired during the marriage is viewed as acquired through mutual effort. The law recognizes two forms of property, separate and community. Only 9 states uphold this type of law today and the laws vary widely between these states. Flashcard 5. Term. Operation and management of a cooperative. Definition. Operation and management of a coop is determined by the corporation's bylaws. The shareholders of a coop have control over the property and its operation through their control of the corporation. They elect officers and directors who are responsible for the running of the corporation and the operation of the building. Flashcard 6. Term. 3 types of partnership are. Definition. Partnership, general partnership, limited partnership. Flashcard 7. Term. 3 forms of real estate ownership. Definition. Ownership in severalty, one owner co-ownership, more than one owner ownership by a trust, property held in benefit for another. Flashcard 8. Term. Business organization. Definition. A legal entity that exists independently of its members. Flashcard 9. Term. Uniform Partnership Act, applies to general partnership. Definition. Laws adopted by almost all states that allow for partnerships to dissolve and reorganize upon the withdrawal, death or bankruptcy of a partner to enable the partnership to continue to conduct business. Flashcard 10. Term. Terminating joint tenancy. Definition. All owners who hold joint tenancy on a property have the right to transfer their interest in the property. When this is done, the new owner hold ownership as a tenancy in common. If the property is held by only 2 joint tenants, then the joint tenancy is terminated and the property is held in tenancy in common. If there are more than 2 owners, the new owner hold the property in a tenancy in common ownership while the remaining joint tenants still hold the property in joint tenancy, i.e., if 3 people own the property and one transfer his membership to his son, the son becomes a tenant in common holding 1/3 of the property. The remaining joint tenants hold 2/3 of the property. If one of the joint tenants dies, the remaining joint tenant inherits the deceased's interest. Since there are only 2 owners, the ownership of the property becomes tenancy in common with one owner holding 1/3 interest in the property and the other holding 2/3 interest. Flashcard 11. Term. Are business entities such as corporations, LLC and partnerships considered legal entities that exist separately from their members? Definition. The answer is all of these. Business organizations such as limited liability companies, partnerships, and corporations are legal entities that exist independently of their members. Ownership by a business organization makes it possible for many people to hold an interest in the same parcel of real estate. Investors may be organized to finance a real estate project in various ways. Some provide for the real estate to be owned by the entity, others provide for direct ownership by the investors. Flashcard 12. Term. Title is held by 2 persons as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. If one party dies, the deceased party's interest goes. Definition. The answer is to the co-owner. Rights of survivorship created in joint tenancy mean that title and interest pass to the other owners upon death of one of the joint tenants or co-owners. Flashcard 13. Term. Land trust. Definition. Trusts. The property is usually transferred to a trustee and the beneficial interest goes to a beneficiary. Usually the beneficiary is the trustor. The beneficiary's interest is in personal property. However, the beneficiary is able to retain control over the property and has all the rights of possession. The beneficiary is also entitled to any income produced from the property including sales proceeds. Land trust is usually established for land preservation and usually last for only a certain period of time. If the beneficiary does not extend the trust, it will expire. If the trust expires, the trustee is obligated to sell that land and return the proceeds to the beneficiary. One distinguishing feature about this type of trust is that public records usually do not name a beneficiary. Beneficial interest can be. Flashcard 14. Term: real estate can be owned under a variety of trusts, including living or testamentary trusts, land trusts, and by investors in. Definition: a real estate investment trust, REIT. Flashcard 15. Term: general partnership. Definition: all partners participate in the operation and management of the business and share full liability, business losses and obligations. If one of the partners dies, withdraws or becomes bankrupt, based in common law, the partnership is dissolved and can be reorganized with the remaining partners so the partnership can continue to conduct business. Most states follow the Uniform Partnership Act to help with this. Flashcard 16. Term: advantages of cooperative ownership. Definition: desirable in recent years for several reasons. Lending institutions view the shares of stock as acceptable,